Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to review patch 10.2. I am just reading it as we go and then I'll just react to it and give you guys my opinion. Let's just read the opening introduction. Hi friends, what's up? How are your resolutions holding up? Do you really think you'll be able to get out of silver this year? I hope so. Is this sarcastic? Speaking of climbing the ladder, we encourage all of you all to get your placements done sooner than later. Crash will be launching later this year and we wouldn't want you to miss out on all the fun because you procrastinated, like your New Year resolution. Don't be like me, failing my last year's resolution to learn to watercolor because I ran out of time. How cocky is this person who wrote it? It's so insulting. This patch, we got to follow up adjustments to Aphelios, nerfs to Qiyana and Nautilus, and buffs to Sona. Yes, Sona, my favorite champion, that's it. Jesus. Jinx is also getting a change to her passive to let her be more jinxy, and Rift is doing her best to get more attention from you. Additionally, we've made some follow-up updates to the elemental rifts so they read clearer and are more defined overall. Infinite mountain rifts in particular should feel clearer gameplay-wise and look more polished in textures. That's really important, honestly. It looked like garbage. Okay, skins, very nice, blah, 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 blah. Aphelios. Base damage always 15. That's pretty huge, honestly. 0.2 bonus attack damage. This is a hefty nerf. That's a pretty big nerf. Really big nerf. This is quite hefty, honestly. This is a big chunk. Crescendum, the chakram, basic attack damage. Mirror chakrams, 1 to 10. Oh, this is also a hefty chunks of damage. Like this is a pretty big nerf. And then we have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Holy, this wasn't that big, but they are still gutting the champion to hell. This is a pretty big nerf. I think it's a bit too preemptive. I don't think it has been figured out on pro level play yet. And I think this is going to slow down the process of figuring this champion out. Sure, there's been a lot of solo queue moments where this champion pops off, and I think this is where a lot of those nerves and frustration comes from. But in pro play, Aphelios looks really underwhelming, and I think no one really in pro play had mastered the champion just yet because it's been banned so much. Maybe this is going to lead to him being played more and then gets banned more. Maybe this is just the right nerf, but my point still stands that I don't feel like anyone that has played it has really figured it out yet in terms of what this champion can do in terms of potential. I think the potential is very clear for everyone. You can like load up multiple guns and then you have timings to do all ends, and there's specific weapon combinations that are just plain OP. But nevertheless, a nerf was deserved because I think it was just a matter of time before someone figured out how to freaking play this well in competitive. I think this is a hefty nerf for the sniper rifle. Bazooka, I mean the flamethrower is not nerfed. This is the daggers that shoot at you with the turret. It's alright, and this is not that big of a deal. So it's still a hefty nerf here for the sniper rifle. The other combinations I think will be fine. This is also pretty big. Okay, moving on. Draven. Our damage ratio now scales. 175. Oh, this is decent, but I don't think it matters. It doesn't change the champion at all. Right now, the reason Draven is suffering is because all the long-range AD carries are doing well. The champions that can do well into Draven, like Ashe, is quite good currently. I didn't mean to click that. Ashe is a fine champion. Caitlyn is a fine champion. I think Sona does very well bottom. Also, the support champion pool is something Draven struggles against. I think just Nautilus is rough. Braum is good into Draven because you can like deny his access. I think just the nature of the meta makes Draven worse. And I don't think this is going to change that at all. This is just Draven mains are smiling, you know? Okay. Okay, so this is just epic monster that are team kills. Wow. We have to keep this in mind that this will affect you. Well, what I understand is that this will be global. So basically, if your jungler takes a Rift Herald while you're on bottom, then you're going to get jinxed, because it doesn't indicate that she needs to have an assist here. Because here, whenever Jinx damages enemy champions, turrets, or inhibitors. So why are they removing this text? Will this happen always when these things? I don't know why they crossed out Jinx damage. I'm just gonna assume it's still like whenever Jinx damage, like she needs to assist. Otherwise, this is going to be kind of ridiculous. It's going to be really, really stupid if you get move speed whenever your team gets a kill. Because I don't know why they would remove the flavor text whenever Jinx damages. Jinx has always been a big fan of taking objectives, so increasing the list of things her passive procs off of is a very champion-resonant way to have her more Jinx moments each game without massively increasing Jinx's actual power level. So they just crossed this out. I'm hoping the wording is just wrong. I'm assuming they just added epic monsters. If she touches them, she gets move speed. If this affects her at all costs, it would be really ridiculous. Really, really stupid. So I'm just going to assume epic monsters, okay, whatever, it's fine. Helping out Karma's early ability to scrap against her opponents. Q, 10 damage, 10 damage, okay, 10 damage, 10 damage. It's whatever. This is not going to make people pick Karma into tanks. The utility of her E got nerfed too hard, and as long as that's the case, it's not going to make a difference. Karma is still a fine pick into Zyra in solo queue, can be picked into Braum, but Braum can still find opportunities to all in if the Braum is good. So this is not going to change anything. I think the utility portion of it, the fact that E got nerfed so hard, is going to prevent us from putting her on support. But the problem is when you can put her on support, you can also put her on mid, and she's just too impactful in the meta. So it's very hard to balance her. And I guess going for the damage route is the better way, because her E was just too OP. Making picks a lot more valuable and therefore useful, so Lulu can make best use of her best fairy friend. They just normalize her stats, whatever. 2-second cooldown down. I wonder if this opens up for more combos in terms of how you can Q. So basically a lot of times you want to Q and then E right at the time or when your Q cooldown was up. That was usually, I think your Q cooldown was like 6. We're just going to double check Lulu wiki. Lulu wiki. So your Glitterlands was 7-second cooldown. You had to use E. So basically you queued, and then when you had, depending on the duration that it stays, actually it doesn't change anything. It's 4-second duration. I was thinking about something else, honestly. It doesn't change the combo at all. It's an okay buff. I don't think this is gonna put her make her useful. I think she still suffers from the same issues. Like if this is their attempt of tackling the support meta, then this is just a complete joke, because this is like, it's a big joke. It's a really big joke. This doesn't change the support meta at all. Dredge line, I think maybe we're starting to reach a point where maybe we have to consider maxing something else like E on Nautilus. But I still think this is big enough for us to continue maxing Q. Like Q damage is so high still, and I don't think this changes the element of Nautilus support. If anything, this is a buff to Leona. If Leona is untouched in this patch, yeah, she's untouched. This is just buffing the other melee supports. Like Leona already, I think, was very, very high value, and I think this is crazy. I don't think this changed anything. Like if you're going to nerf one, you have to nerf all of the others. I don't think Nautilus stands out as better than the others. A key thing here to note as well is this doesn't change Nautilus mid that much, because you max E in most cases on Nautilus mid because you want to push. Maybe you can max E on support as well, and maybe that's going to be better now. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe maxing Q is still good. But the fact that Leona is not nerfed is a big meme. It's really, really disastrous. Qiyana W passive attack speed now scales. So this is a huge nerf. This is a really, really big nerf, because like you know, kind of max W in a long time, and this is a huge chunk of attack speed that you're going to lose, especially when jungling. And I think this is going to hurt her jungling a lot. There were ways where you could jungle and not lose HP already with Qiyana, but I think this is going to make you actually lose HP, and maybe this is going to hurt her. I don't think it's going to hurt her enough, because maybe you can compensate with some rune choices, or maybe with like a leash, or maybe with using a smite and potions to reach level 3. I think she's still going to be relevant in the jungle because of the nature of how strong she is on level 3, and I think you can still reach it with maybe burning potions. But it's still a big deal. It's a big nerf. It's a big nerf, definitely. Sona has room for some buffs when you compare it to other enchanters. We nerfed her in the past to prevent double support item shenanigans, but since we've mitigated these concerns, we have the opportunity to give her a little tuning. This change will give her more of an opportunity to dodge skill shots and the ability to maneuver around the map and get to her allies. Well, let's see. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. But always when I judge Sona support, it's in the context of just having Sona AD carry. So this is very silly. This is very silly. Very, very silly. I don't think this changes the position of Sona at all. She's a trash support. She's just garbage. Just don't play her. It's like Nami is better. If you want to play something like this, if you want to play Sona or Lulu or Karma, just play Soraka and Nami instead. It's just better. Trundle has been suffering all around, but especially when allies have to rely on him for ganks. Yeah, definitely. This is too little of a buff because you max E so late. I don't think these buffs are anything. This is maybe cool for jungle, 10% attack speed, but in general, I think this is very trash. This is whatever, like this is 5% slow, we're going to care about this. Trundle was still fine in some 1v1s in some specific matchup. Maybe people can pick Trundle into like Rek'Sai, maybe Olaf, because this is the matchup we saw Olaf in, and maybe this attack speed buff is going to put him into a position where he can actually do something. Victor no longer loses a significant amount of mana if he upgrades the prototype Hex core early into the game, okay? Q-based damage increased, W enemy knockback increased, E slow increased. Enemy knockback distance 100, that's a decent chunk. 10% slow, that's also pretty decent. These are all fine buffs, honestly, fine buffs. I think Ziggs was in an okay position. The only problem is that the Q is like one of the hardest spells to land in the game because of, I don't know, the hitbox is as small as my pinky, man. It's crazy how small the hitbox is. I think if you play against better players, usually Ziggs is not so effective, but these are very helpful buffs. Like I've seen Ziggs occasionally, and in a turret plating meta, W is super cool. Maybe you can play like a Ziggs bottom again because you can clear a bottom wave so easily, and maybe these buffs actually push him past that edge. Ziggs bottom is very interesting because you can play safe side very easily and you can clear waves. You can one-shot the wave while your team is pushing top, so that's cool. This is a very big nerf. Cloak of Agility, 20%, 25%. No more Cloak of Agility shenanigans. Does mean that Zeal is 25%, so getting Zeal and going those paths is still quite key. A clear item hierarchy is more helpful. BF Pickaxe, Cloak of Agility. Yeah, this will ring true again. You can still squeeze in some Cloak of Agility sometimes if you're going to build a specific way. Like there's some champions that synergize so well with crit. Like Caitlyn with her headshots, so maybe it's still worth it, but I doubt it. I think just finishing items is better. Okay, total attack damage 5. Stormrazor energized VFX. Visual effects no longer can be seen within Fog of War. Okay, cool. 5 AD. Like this item was really busted. Like this really was really OP, and the slow was crazy. Frozen Heart, it's like the least purchased item in the game, I think. There's just better items. The set allocation, there's just too much mana on Frozen Heart for it to be bought. And the champions that want to buy Frozen Heart or something just go Iceborne Gauntlet because it just makes much more sense. having this much armor is not necessary most of the cases. Rift Herald. Nerf, okay. Oh, it's pretty easy to kill, honestly. This is one less eye poke, so this is definitely cool. Oh, this is one-shottable, man. It's really one-shottable. It's super easy to kill. It's cool. Okay, buffs, bugs. Okay, that was it. Okay, very surprising. Like, if I give you guys my thoughts in regards to what hasn't changed, it's a big freaking joke that what's it called? Freaking Sona stays the same. I think Sona is by far the most OP AD carry, and I think if you watch LPL, you can clearly see it. Sona is so freaking dominant, and I think it's really OP, this champion. I think it doesn't translate well into solo queue play because you can't really abuse the sustain as well. You can't abuse the range, you can't abuse the distances, and I think in competitive play, Sena's really OP, so the fact that that champion is untouched is crazy. Misfortune also untouched, I think is crazy. Leona untouched is really crazy. Like, her W is one of the most OP spells in the game. Like, she's just literally unkillable. It synergizes perfectly with Aftershock. The fact that your Aftershock is scaling depending on how much armor and MR you have is just nuts. And I think they just need to, like, if they nerf Nautilus and Leona really hard, then I think the whole support pool is open again, and we have a hierarchy of rock, paper, scissors, and people can actually start to play Zyra again, play Nami again, play Thresh again. Sure, Thresh has seen a lot of play into Nautilus and Leona as kind of a denial, but Nautilus and Leona just reign supreme because they are just too OP. So the fact that Nautilus gets nerfed in a way that we honestly don't have to give a shit about, these buffs are really trash. I don't give a shit about this. This is like Karma mid laners are going to be happy, and this is like all the funnelers are going to be happy. So I think this patch is a big joke. It's a big joke. I don't think there's anything more to add. The game will stay relatively the same. Ziggs bottom might be interesting. We'll have to look into this. Ziggs bottom into Caitlyn, maybe into Misfortune. Maybe you can pull off some cheese. That's cool. This into Olaf and Rek'Sai in general. Sona, we don't give a shit about. This for Qiyana jungle is pretty huge. Jinx, I think the wording here is just trash. This doesn't matter. The matter is just hard for Draven, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video or whatever. I hope you liked it. Peace.